Hey everyone, and welcome to Teslas in Canada. So we've owned the Model Y since July of 2023. We've had it for quite a while now. We just crossed over 25,000 kilometers on our way back from Florida, from Ontario. Figured it was due time to make an update here on the car, how it's been going, what kind of issues, if any, we're having. So stay tuned till the end of the video to go through all that. So to let you guys know, if you don't already know and you haven't followed the channel, this is a 2023 rear wheel drive Model Y, which was shipped here from Shanghai, China, and has the LFP battery. So this was one of the first cars to came on one of the first boats over when they first introduced the rear-wheel drive Model Y. Now, we were wanting to get into a Y, but our budget was not allowing us to do so because the dual motor is quite a bit more. And as soon as the rear-wheel drive came out, I wanted to jump on board. My wife was not on board right away, but then after discussions, looking at pricing and all of that, comparing the cost of buying even like a $25,000 or $30,000 used gas vehicle, and then the gas, the oil, the brakes, all of that, it was going to end up costing us more per year than it was to put 30,000 or so down on the Model Y and finance the rest. And that has proven to be true. We have not had any maintenance with this vehicle except for windshield washer fluid. We do not have winter tires right now, so we haven't even swapped winters. We drove it all winter on the stock tires. This one came with the Pirellis, and they Pirelli all seasons, and they've been great for the winter. Upgrades we've done, of course, you can probably notice we have different rim covers on. We've tried a couple different ones out. We have the Yeslac ones on now. I really like the 5-spoke blade rim covers from Tesla. We will be swapping back to those as we get here into the winter season. And I may probably be buying Michelin tires for this, just like I have Michelin X-Ice tires for the Model 3. Now, rear wheel drive, how does it handle in the winter? It's been fantastic, and I really like it, how it handles in the snow, in the deep snow and the ice. It's been great. Now, that was a concern of mine when I first bought my Model 3 rear wheel drive back in 2022. That has proven to not even be a concern. It runs just perfect in the winter time, sometimes even handles better than the all-wheel drive RAV4 that I used to have prior. I'll jump into the costs when I get back home into the office, and we'll cut to that a little bit later in the video, but I just wanted to go over again some of the accessories that I found useful. This roof shade that we have here is from Jawo, and I'll put a link in the description as well as you can see it here on the screen. But that has really helped actually keep the climate control down and help with the battery, because as you know, it has a glass roof and the sun is shining through all the time. Now without it, it's not too bad, but you definitely do have to have the temperature and the fans cooler and running faster to keep up with it. But having the roof shade, especially when we were down in Florida and Tennessee for 2 weeks, was really helpful, and I would highly recommend getting one. There's many different options. You could get it from Tesla, you could get it from Jawo, whichever one. There is links in the description below. All-weather floor mats are definitely a must, at least when you have kids. It's a must. And myself, I probably track in the most dirt and grime as I'm doing my job as a real estate agent and going to a lot of different places, walking in dirt, walking in gravel, going on dirt roads and things like that. So having the all-weather floor mats has been awesome. The ones I have in here are from Tesla, and again, you can use the link in the description below to get some money off And as well, that does help support the channel, all the affiliate links and things like that. If you're in the market for a Tesla, by the way, you can get $1,300 off right now for a limited time. It's a max of 10 referrals. I have used 5 of them. So if you want one of the last 5 to get $1,300 off on your purchase of a Tesla, definitely use it down below and don't delay. Make sure you take advantage of that. The other expense that you will have with a Tesla is either buying a mobile connector or the wall charger. Now we have the wall charger at home. It's not necessary for a rear wheel drive, but I just found it handy to have installed in the house so you can drive in, plug it in, and then I can have the mobile charger in the vehicle at all times in case I'm out and about and I need a charge and there's no Tesla supercharger or different charger as well. Another thing with charging is it's ideal to get a CCS adapter, because there was a time earlier this year when we traveled to Florida and the supercharger network went down for us Canadians, and I had to find a different charger that used CCS, so I used the CCS adapter to get that fast charging. Thankfully, I had purchased that and had it with me, so it wasn't an issue. And I should note that this error that we had was an error with their payment processing, not an error with the supercharging itself. You don't have to worry, it's likely not going to happen again, but regardless of that, always good to have many different charging options available and on hand with you in case something does come up. So as I said earlier in the video, we purchased this car in July of 2023, so we've owned it for 14 months now. We've done 2 trips to Florida and back, putting on about 10,000 kilometers just between those trips out of the 25,669 kilometers that we have put on the car. So during those 10,000 kilometers, there was a lot of supercharging done, which added quite a bit of cost there to our overall charging budget. Still, overall charging for the last 14 months on this vehicle has been $1,051. If you were to drive 25,669 kilometers in a gas-powered SUV, say you got 500 kilometers a tank, and that costs you about $70 a tank, you're looking at like $3,500, $3,600 in gas, plus even if you did an oil change every 10,000 kilometers, it's 2 oil changes, plus you've got brake wear and tear, which you barely ever use the brakes on a Tesla because you're always using regen braking, which is very helpful for long-term budget and maintenance schedules on the vehicle. As well, I should mention we've done a lot of other smaller road trips that have added in additional supercharging costs in there. So probably just in supercharging, we're at about $700, maybe even $800 worth of supercharging. I haven't broken it all down. That's definitely really good. Just in the month of August, between supercharging, driving to Florida and back, and charging at home, just that month was $456 worth of charging. So it really goes to show how much supercharging adds to the car. And in that month, we drove about 6,000 kilometers, 6,000 out of the 25,000 kilometers. Oh, we're almost 26,000 kilometers, $456 for basically 6,000 out of all those kilometers. It's just wild how much supercharging does add to the cost, but it's still a lot cheaper. Well, it's about half the price of gas. In terms of other expenses, what other expenses have we had on this car? Upgrades, I went through those. Those are expenses, as well as windshield washer fluid, which is super expensive. Every car has that. It's not much money at all. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else to talk about in terms of expenses or maintenance. You should do tire rotation every once in a while. That's good. Swapping the winter tires in the winter, although as you heard earlier in the car, talked about how we ran the whole winter with just the all seasons and it was perfectly fine. Issues we've had with the car, we did have a faulty airbag sensor in the passenger seat, which just, popped up an error, and that was all fixed under warranty for free. It's one of those things, there's always going to be Not always, but there can be something that comes up when you buy a brand new vehicle. Every vehicle's got some sort of quirk to it that can be fixed, and that was the one that we had with this Tesla Model Y. But anyways, it drives well, handles well. It has served our family of four very well over the last 14 months, and I would highly recommend getting into a Tesla Model Y if you're considering it. If you want $1,300 off Canadian or $1,000 off US, use the referral link down below, and feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and subscribe. Bye.